Hello, my doves. As you can probably guess, we're back with another spell jar. I just wanted to say real quick, welcome to all of our newbies. Very, very glad to have you here. So what we've been doing with the spell jars has kind of been an experimental journey. Whoopsie. We've got the elemental jars, 4 of them up here I've made before. Last time we did a self-love jar to encourage kind of that feeling at peace and happy with yourself. This one was very fun to make. And this time we're going to do something a little different. See, I had dreams about the color light blue, about making a spell jar, and specifically using sodalite in it. Lots of blue kept popping up. Blue, light blue. And my dream was very non-specific at first. I thought it was going to be about like work-life balance, kind of promoting that inner balance. But recently, I've also kind of been searching for like a guiding deity or a guiding spirit to work with, to kind of customize my altar for, to do some of this for. So I feel like the color light blue, the specific call for sodalite, which is actually a good stone for divination and kind of dream working, as well as being, pretty much everything I have here today is going to be some combination of protection, purification, and dream work or divination or opening your third eye. Every single one of these is going to have a combination of that. So what we're doing is creating kind of like a dream guidance spell jar. So this one in particular, when we're done, I'm going to keep under my pillow. Now normally you would want to do this closer to a full moon, but with the Aries new moon opening up here in a little under a day, I feel like this is when I need to do this and start my journey. Because it just feels right. You don't have to stick to any specific rules. You don't have to do this kind of stuff during the full moon only, because it's the only time you'll get results. Whenever something feels like it's calling to you, go ahead and do it. Trust your instincts. So as we can see, I already purified my jar with the incense. Super easy to do. You don't have to do anything super fancy with it. You just let it in and do everything with intention. Let the smoke fill it and take away any impurities as it releases. I use a backflow burner. My incense is dragon's blood and sage combined. You can use whatever you like. I just particularly like dragon's blood. It's one of my favorites. So we let the smoke clear. And we're going to start with some of our protective ingredients as the base. So I have my Dead Sea salt that we used during the elemental jar video. I use this in my water jar. A generous scoop of that. I also have a lot of ingredients, so I'm not going to be using a very heavy concentration of any one ingredient because I've got a lot of things to go. Another little, slightly more than a half scoop to build our base here. And we'll put this off to the side. Next, we're going to use elderberries. I haven't got my next shipment of storage jars, the big jars yet, so it's still in the baggie from last video. But I have elderberry in here. Again, good for protection, also good for divination and promoting dreaming. So it's going to serve that double duty for us. Put this to the side. Next, we're going to go to our rose hips. Rose hips, used to call good spirits and for good luck, and you are supposed to place rose hips beneath your pillow to protect yourself against nightmares and nasty spirits that would disturb your peace. So it's literally made for our cause. Those hips, kind of big, kind of weird looking. They're pretty cool. I like them. So we're going to take just a few of these. And a small one, 4. I tend to do everything in odd number or even numbers. It's odd that I tend to do everything in even numbers. 4 tends to be my favorite number for everything. See, we're already almost halfway full in this jar. So next up, protective wise, we're going to use a little bit of amethyst. 1 piece of amethyst out of this whole jar. Amethyst is a great stone for protection. Also very good for opening your third eye, which is what we're going to want since we're trying to communicate with a deity of some kind. We want to open our third eye. So we'll drop the amethyst in there. Clear quartz, 2 pieces. Clear quartz is going to be good for pretty much anything in a lot of ways because it's clear. Quartz is kind of the universal element. There's a tiny chip in there. When it comes to spell work, quartz can be substituted for nearly anything. But it is especially good for anything involving intuition, broadening the mind, all of that good stuff. So 2 pieces of clear quartz. This is hibiscus flower petals, dried. These are very good for divination, even to some degree astral projection, which is not necessarily where I want to take this, but that is a good reason to include a lot of these protective elements as well, because you can start getting into some dicey territory with astral projection, and you always want to make sure that you have a strong protection and purification base to any spell work that you're going to do involving astral projection, because that is when you are almost 100% at your most vulnerable. So you got to make sure you're taken care of if you're going to attempt anything like that. Getting pretty full here. I love the layers. Got some great colors going on here. I always love it when they turn out pretty. And remember, part of the reason I'm saying all of the ingredients to you is not just so that you know what I'm using and why I'm using it, but because you want to work with intention. So part of how I'm setting my intention for the ingredients I'm using, like this jasmine flower, and especially with the crystals, activating them, is by speaking my intention out loud. Now, you don't have to speak your intentions out loud every time. You can do it just in your mind, but you have to make your intention clear. You can't just throw a bunch of things together without thinking about it and hope it works. You have to do everything with a clear goal in your head. So jasmine flower, not so much for the purification, but definitely for dreaming, astral projection. Technically used a little bit more in like dreaming of your love. Same with hibiscus, dreaming of potential love. But it can also work for these opportunities because, of course, if we're dreaming about a deity we're going to work with, it's hopefully going to be someone that we build a bond with, and there will be some love there. 4 scoops again. And then I have 2 more things. I've got these 2 crystals, which look similar, but they are actually very different. This is blue agate, and blue agate's good for dreaming, protecting yourself and your energies. So it's very similar to our regular clear quartz here. It's multi-property, lots of uses. And then this is the piece of sodalite I picked up. This one in particular was just calling to me like crazy. I dug through the bin for about 45 seconds before I found this one because it just really wanted me to take it. But sodalite was the main thing that was featured in my dream other than the color light blue. And honestly, I thought the jar was going to be a lot more of a light blue color than it is. But obviously there's not that many light blue items to work with. It's not like I'm going to get light blue salt and throw it in here and that kind of stuff. That'd be silly. But that was just what kept coming back to me was light blue, sodalite, and this energy of finding my way home, of finding something to connect to. And sodalite, again, is very good for the dreaming aspect of it. And the staying safe while you're dream walking or astral projecting or opening yourself up to those influences. Because again, the most dangerous thing is that you open yourself up without significant protections, and something that would do you harm ends up slipping through instead, because there are many trickster spirits out there that would love to pretend to be a god or goddess and steer you off of your designated path and just feast on your energy. So we definitely want to avoid that. So we've got this here. This is going to be my topper, my key piece, because that is what was just screaming at me in my dream that I could remember when I wake up. And the crazy thing about it is, personally, I usually don't have super vibrant dreams to begin with. I dream occasionally, more like rarely, and I usually don't remember it very well. Generally dreams I remember are kind of on the scary side, like being in a horror movie, like, oh, you're being chased around a house by a killer, that kind of thing. So the fact that I had such a clear dream about making a spell jar in these colors and the specific kind of stone and what I was going to use it for, and finding that balance in my life, I feel like is very powerful, because it doesn't happen to me very often. I'm hoping it's a side effect of, making these videos for you guys, opening myself up a little bit more, while using, mental protection. It sounds funny when you say it like that. And that I've just, reached a new level in my practice where I'm more comfortable opening myself up to outside energies, because for a long time, because of the spirits and such I'd interact with in my childhood that kind of propelled me down this path, I was very skeptical about opening up my energies at all. But I think I'm at the point where I am confident enough in who I am and what I can do and the energies around me that I'm in a safe place to practice this. So let's go ahead and seal it with the candle. Got a nice light blue candle here. That was a must for me, was finding the light blue chime candle. I knew I had to have it. It won't sit flat in the base though, but that's okay. I just used this a second ago. Why isn't it working? There we go. That was strange. So we're going to let this get started. And this is always my favorite part of the video. Probably everyone's favorite part of the video is how many times could she burn herself with the wax and not knock everything over or break things or drop things. Because I always end up burning myself with the hot wax, and these are not that kind of candle. I don't have any of that kind of candle right now. I wonder how many colors they come in if I should switch over just for, safety hazards. That's weird. YouTube, please do not automatically mark my content 18+. I didn't actually say anything, I swear. I am a hazard to myself and others. Give it a few more seconds here. As soon as I start tilting it in any one direction, it will melt faster and be a little bit easier to direct. But this candle, it looks like, was more white at the top, like the dye maybe sunk to the bottom a little bit. And I really wanted to have that nice light blue color, because that's just, again, really what I'm feeling right now. So we're just going to give that a few more seconds to burn down a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more than it is now. Here's hoping my cat doesn't come interfere again. She's been extra sassy lately with spring coming. I think she's starting to get that wild hair. That wild little spring fever, as cats do. She's been extra goofy. I've posted a few videos of it on my Instagram. People seem to think she's very cute. I think it's her Instagram now. I'm just the one in charge because I have the thumbs. But I'll post my Instagram link so you guys can check it out if you like cats and you want to see my little goober. She's precious and she loves to meow right in the middle of my videos and say hi to everybody because she's a drama queen. There we go. I think the candle's just about ready. So now we wait. And with the last couple, once I started tilting them, the wax fell pretty fast. There we go. And I want to do a pretty thick layer of the wax on this one, just because I will be sleeping with it. And I want to be extra sure that I'm not going to break the seal at any point in time to maintain the integrity of it. I don't know when this wax hardens if it's going to harden in the light blue. But I hope so because that would be absolutely lovely if it did. Oh yeah, it's already starting to thicken a little bit on this side where we started. And it looks like it might be just barely a light blue. Oh, that's very pretty. One thing I definitely noticed after the last time is if I keep rotating the candle so it burns a little bit more evenly, it tends to end up dripping better as well. So what's better for the candle is also better for me. And you can't argue with that kind of logic. The way that it's starting to dry with these little pieces sticking out now on the sides is kind of funny. It's very unique compared to the other ones I've done. I'm not sure if it's just the sheer amount of wax that I'm using for this one or what, but this is great. I just like to see what it'll do every time, because I don't think I've used the exact same technique on a single one of them. Now I'm just trying to go a little bit higher up the cork for this last round. To make sure it's nice and sealed up. It's gone a good ways down the glass. The only thing is, I don't know if the cork is necessarily going to work with me on absorbing it here. The cool thing is the cork seems to be fairly fire resistant, and I do a lot better with crystals than with plants, but I think cork is somewhat fire resistant because I'm pretty much touching cork with this burning wick, and it's not really doing anything to it, which is very interesting, and I like it. This spot right here doesn't have a whole lot going on. There we go, that's a little better. Oh yeah, that looks good and thick and sealed. Got all kinds of goofy little tentacles popping off here, but I like it. One more little bit there. Oh, that is a strong flame. But I think that is a wrap. Lovely. Now I'm going to sleep with this under my pillow, see what kind of new dreams I can have, and I will record them in this journal, and I will share my results with you. This is a dot grid journal, so I can freeform write in it. Also, you can sketch in it pretty easily. So that's why I want to use this one. If there's any symbolism that comes through in my dreams, I want to make sure that I get that noted down. And I think the grids will help me draw it a little bit, because I don't draw very much. So I'm going to specifically move this journal to my bed so that I can do that. But here's our final product. Thanks so much for stopping by. I can't wait to share the results with you. And as always, have a wonderful evening. Until next time.